Well, greetings and welcome. This is Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you on EWTN Radio. We have Ace and Jeff and Matt, the show team, all in place, ready to go. Thank you, affiliates, for carrying the program. And we hope and pray that we will have another impactful conversation today based on your phone calls, your emails, your texts, your social media comments. The phone number, 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. Hello, Debbie.
Hello, Jerry. And Michael is in place for Jeff today on social media. So
Okay.
Michael's going to do a great job gathering all the, well, we hope you're not going to play some, internet pranks on us because we're talking about pranks today. Has anyone ever played a prank on you and they got away with it, right? And it was actually funny. Or did it go horribly wrong? Did it go horribly south? The prank, it sounded good on the surface and it sounded like everybody was going to have a real good laugh, right? Because laughter is the best medicine. And then it didn't go well. So we want to talk about pranks today because tomorrow is April 1st, April Fool's Day. Now, we're not going to have a broadcast on about April Fool's Day because tomorrow is First Friday. And we're dedicating it, especially this year, to the real presence, the Eucharist. So we will be talking about the Most Holy Eucharist tomorrow. So looking ahead, we thought we'd ask you, what's the best prank that was ever played on you? Think about it for a moment and then call in. I'm going to share one that involves two priests. That's correct. Two priests. Priests, yeah, they have a good sense of humor. And I'm going to share that. And it's a prank that it was pretty funny, but it could have gone. It wouldn't have been too good if it got away from us. So let's talk about it. Dial in 833-288-3986. And Jerry, we missed you yesterday.
Yeah, thank you. I was otherwise occupied a couple of days this week, but it's great to be back on the show today. And what a day to come back for this show on what is the best prank ever played on you. Why would we do a show like this? Well, it's because we are, as human beings, we have emotions. One of them is laughter, and we want to feel good, and we want to have a good time, and we want to joke around with our family, our friends. We certainly want to make sure nobody gets hurt in the process, as is sometimes the case. But we would love to hear about if a prank has ever been played on you, one that was hopefully not harmful in any way, or
Right.
or if you have ever played a prank on someone. As Debbie said, tomorrow is April Fool's Day, and it is a day. I don't know the history of how it got to be the day when we play pranks on people, but certainly you have had this happen in your life at some point. So join us, 833-288-3986. That is the number to call.
And you got to get it down to like the Reader's Digest version of prank, okay? Give us a lot of the details, but you got to get it really kind of short and tight for the purposes of this very quick hour we get to spend with one another. But tell us your best prank that you played on somebody else or was played on you. Maybe you didn't like it. Maybe after the prank was over with, you turned to that person and said, "I will never speak to you again. We're done. The relationship is over. That was a horrible prank." Did that ever happen to you? So it has happened to some people. We want to hear all about the different angles of playing pranks. Okay, 833-288-3986. Michael is at social media. You can tell us the best prank ever played on you there on YouTube and Facebook. We're waving to you. Or you can email us, take2@ewtn.com, if it's a longer prank that you have to give us the details of. Or you can text us as well. But we'd love to hear you and hear your voice and speak to you and get to know you better by phone. All you have to do is call this number, 833-288-3986. We're at the last day of March. Can you believe it?
Hard to believe, yeah. Quarter of the year already behind us here.
That's
Heading
amazing.
into the warmer time of the year. Many people will be happy about that. 833-288-3986. I have shared this on the air before. I'll share the prank, one of the pranks that was played on me before. I remember in high school, I used to eat a lot. I played all the different sports, and activities, and you just need your energy. So I would try to get seconds at lunch and things like this. So I kind of had this reputation of, if somebody at the table where we were sitting didn't want something a part of their lunch, they knew, well, Jerry will probably eat it. So one of my friends put together a sandwich made with canned dog food. And what's really funny about this one was, though, I didn't take it. I didn't bite on the prank. I sensed something was wrong, maybe just in how eager he was to give it to me, and to see everybody was watching me to see if I would eat it. But they tried to get me to eat a dog food sandwich, and I didn't do it. So
you were very wise.
I guess so.
What's that commercial? Remember that Mikey commercial? Give it to Mikey. He'll eat anything. Remember that commercial?
Yeah,
the cereal
Life
commercial?
cereal. Yeah, Life cereal.
Okay, we're dating ourselves, folks. Ace McKay is right on top of things. He actually researched the history of April Fool's Day, and so maybe, Jerry, you might want to share that. That's kind of interesting. Very long, actually. That's interesting how it all started. It's the history of these days that we, take with us every year. Some have pagan beginnings, some are out of a cultural type situation. It's very interesting. I love the history of things. It gets us to maybe appreciate things more and enter into the day in kind of a fun way. What do you think?
I think so. Yeah, and Ace did give us a bit of a history of April Fool's Day. We can get to that probably before we get to our phone calls in a few minutes, and I certainly look forward to hearing about the prank that the priests played on you as well.
I will share that. I'm going to need at least 2 minutes, though, because I have to make sure I get the details correct. You will totally appreciate this, Jerry, with your days in seminary and stuff. So you'll appreciate this. It was pretty funny, but it could have gone really. Oh boy, I could have probably been fired or something like that, or the bishop could have come after me or something.
Wow.
It was pretty funny. Well, I just went along with it because, when my pastor, who I'm working for, says to do something, I said, okay, Father, and I just did it. Never thinking it could be really bad.
Could have gone south. Yeah. Okay, Take Two family. Look at those phone lines get filled up. We got a couple more lines still available. Best prank ever played on you or by you. 833-288-3986.
Vivez selon la vérité. Vivez en catholique.
Satyani jaga katolik raha.
Marktail an Ernia, Marktail an Catholics.
In any language, it means the same. Live truth. Live Catholic. EWTN.
The wisdom of Mother Angelica.
Look at the little flower. I am not the little flower, I'm Italian. She was French. She was meek. I'm hot-tempered. She was very lovey-dovey. To me, let's get on with this show. You got something to do, do it. I look at the Lord sometimes in the sacrament, and I say, Lord, I wish I could think of all the things the saints thought of. They're always kind of gushy. St. Gertrude and St. McChill. Is there a place up there, Lord, for just ordinary people? People that get up in the morning kind of grouchy and go to bed the same way, there has to be a lot of those kind of people up there,
For more information on Mother Angelica, visit Religious Catalog at EWTNRC.com.
The EWTN Warriors Rosary is a fitting tribute to all the spiritual warriors who have stood by us over the years. Each rosary is a unique creation. Get your Warriors Rosary today at EWTNRC.com.
Best prank ever played on you? That's what we want to hear today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. You orchestrated a prank, right? You're the one who directed it. We want to hear from you too. You don't have to out yourself. We're not gonna get upset or anything. We just want to hear about the prank and have a good laugh. 833-288-3986. Did you know that EWTN radio is available on smart speakers like Amazon Echo, Google Assistant, and others? For example, you can listen to EWTN radio just by saying, Alexa, ask EWTN to play Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, and she will happily comply.
Beautiful. Yeah. When
Very
technology works, it's great.
Our Alexa has a mind of her own. She's been locked up in the closet for a long time. I don't think I think we're just going to give her away at a garage sale.
Play a prank.
She's too
on someone.
temperamental. Yeah. Did you want to share the history? It's very interesting from Scotland. I did not know this.
I didn't know this either. Ace McKay, our producer, sent this over to us. He says the history of April Fool's Day spread throughout Britain during the 18th century. In Scotland, the tradition became a 2-day event, starting with hunting the gowk, in which people were sent on phony errands. A gowk is a word for a cuckoo bird, a symbol for a fool, and followed by Taily Day, I hope I said that right, which involved pranks played on people such as pinning fake tails or kick me signs on them. April Fool's Day pranks in modern times. People have gone to great lengths to create elaborate April Fool's Day hoaxes. We know this. Newspapers, radio, and TV stations and websites have participated in the April 1st tradition of reporting outrageous fictional claims that have fooled their audiences.
Interesting.
So it's really, it's become quite a thing.
Yeah. We've got a couple open phone lines if you'd like to share a prank that was played on you or that you did yourself, or you were the person behind the curtain orchestrating everything. We want to hear that. 833-288-3986. Please dial in. We're going to get to Kay first, but Jerry, some of the Take Two family has challenged me to share my prank story because they think I'm going to chicken out and try to run out the clock. So let me just, Kay, hold on one more minute. Okay, everyone get a visual of this, okay? And I was just joking. I don't think the bishop would have gotten too upset with me, okay? So I was working for, I'll leave the names out, Jerry, and because you know them. And I'll protect the innocent. I was working for this great pastor who had an incredible sense of humor. He still does. He's amazing, super funny, always kept the staff happy. My office was right at the front entrance of the building so that everybody had to walk past my office. I was the adult formation director. Everybody had to walk past my office to get outside into the parking lot, okay? So the pastor's office was 2 doors down, and then the associate pastor was about another 2 doors down the hallway, okay? And it was time for the associate pastor to get his assignment of what parish he was going to be assigned at in his next assignment. So we were waiting for the letter to come in from the bishop and everything, and it came in. So our pastor decided to play a prank on him and to doctor the letter, okay, to give the associate pastor the worst assignment you could possibly have in our diocese, okay? And he figured, well, I can't deliver. The pastor couldn't deliver the letter because he thought it's going to look too suspicious. So he walks into my office and he says, Debbie, I want you to give this to Father and just say, hey, it came in the mail, since your office was right at the front entrance. So as a typical Catholic schoolgirl that I am, I said, of course, Father, I'll be happy to do it. And so I walked down to his office and I said, Father, this just came in the mail. Here it is. Well, he opens up the letter, and the next thing I know, he is marching down the hallway and he storms out of the building, okay? And because he has to go right past my office, Jerry. And I said, oh, wow, something bad's going to happen. And that just then the pastor, Father came out of his office. He walks into my office and he goes, you better chase after Father in the parking lot because you're going to be in big trouble. Because when he calls the bishop and complains about his assignment, I'm going to say you're the one that delivered the letter. So I go out to the parking lot screaming, Jerry. I'm screaming, Father, Father. And he's already on the phone. And I don't know who he's talking to. And I'm screaming, Father, Father. Finally, he turns around and he goes, what? I go, it was a joke. And we all laughed. He laughed. We still talk about it. It was hilarious. But to this day, I still needle the pastor saying, I cannot believe you set me up to potentially, I mean, he could have literally been calling the bishop and saying, you know, but here I was. I played along with it because that's how gullible I am.
No, that's your Catholic school girl obedience, right?
Yeah, but it was so funny. It was so funny. Our pastor was hilarious. It was, you know what? When you work for a pastor that has a great sense of humor, it is an amazing experience. It really is. It's really fun to be in ministry. Anyway, that's my little prank story. But I never play pranks on priests ever again. I stay far away from it.
Well, let's hear what the Take Two family has to say. It's the day before April Fool's. Tomorrow is our show on the Most Blessed Sacrament, the real presence of the Eucharist. We do that first Fridays every month here in the year of 2022. So in anticipation of April Fool's Day, we're asking you if you have ever pulled a great prank on someone or had one played on you. Share it with us, 833-288-3986. As promised, Kay has been waiting very patiently in West Virginia, listening on Light of Life Radio. Hi, Kay. Welcome. You're up first.
Hi. I've got a good story for you.
Okay.
I had two sons, Donald and Ben. Ben was the youngest, and it was the night before April Fool's Day, and Ben had gone to bed. Well, Donald says, let's play a joke on Ben. We'll change all the sugar in the sugar bowl for salt. So I let him do that, and he filled the sugar bowl with salt, and then he went to bed. Well, after he went to bed, I took all the salt out, and I put the sugar back in. So in the morning when the two boys got up, Ben poured himself some cereal, and he started spooning on all this sugar, which Donald thought was salt, and he started eating it. And Donald looked at him and said, tastes funny, doesn't it? He goes, no. He goes, it tastes funny now, doesn't it? No. April Fool's, Donald. So it's kind of a double trick.
It was, yeah.
It was a double trick, but I got to say, Kate, you're a great mom, because isn't it true that if you get like an overabundance of salt, you could potentially harm yourself or get really sick?
I suppose. I don't think you'd eat that much of it if it was salt.
Mm-hmm.
But you were a great mom. I see. I think that was a well-rounded, executed double prank. What do you think, Jerry?
Well, I'm wondering how Donald felt about the whole thing, Kay, how you kind of spoiled his fun and kind of turned the prank back around on him. What was his reaction to all of that?
Oh, he was, I don't know what his reaction was anymore. He just couldn't believe that it didn't taste funny.
Yeah.
He said, Mom.
Well, there's a lot of pranks have been played with food. You know, people will go to restaurants and unscrew the cap on the salt shaker or the pepper shakers and things like that. Yeah. I'm not endorsing that, by the way. Don't anybody go do that.
Right. Kay, what do you think about pranks in general? You raising two boys. I raised two boys as well. They used to play a lot of pranks. Do you think pranks for the most part are harmless and fun, or do you think pranks could actually really turn kind of ugly?
Well, I see these things online that are really bad. You know, they can be bad pranks. You know, you got to keep everything safe and healthy.
Right. Really harmless. I don't know if you heard my prank story about the two priests. Did you think that was harmless?
I'm not so sure.
I know. I still can't believe we messed around with the letter. You know, I'm thinking, what were we thinking? It wasn't me. I'm blaming it all on the pastor.
Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you, Kay, for calling.
Kay.
Yeah, well, she makes a great point, too. You know, pranks, it's like so many things in life, Debbie, which were once, so much more innocent than they are now. Now really can be very, very dangerous. And I think young people in particular, I think they challenge their peers, to do certain things,
Yeah,
yeah.
Especially when it involves like fire and stuff.
Yeah, or putting themselves in physical harm's way, or eating something dangerous or something. It just seems like as we do a show like this, my mind goes back to these simple things like a dog food sandwich, and we look around today and we see just a lot of pranks really aren't that safe and healthy anymore.
Well, don't you agree that what happens with pranks is you tend to go for the more elaborate prank or drastic or
extreme,
the more extreme, and which is very dangerous. And we're in that kind of world right now where everybody's tries to get the next fix, right? The next high, the next adrenaline rush, and it's very dangerous. I do agree with you, Jerry. I love the good old days when I think you said it a couple days about last week. I think you said it where you said you used to go out and build forts and, go outside and just have fun.
Catch frogs, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the good old days. Let's go back to those. Where are we going?
All right, let's go back to the phones. David, too, has been holding patiently. He is in Wisconsin listening on Sirius XM 130. Hi, David. Welcome to the program.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Hey, I called you about 3 weeks ago with a story about my burned hand, and you told me to call back with a prank today, so I remembered that.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
here's how the prank went, because I prank people a lot, but boy, I got it good. We had a bunch of chipmunks in our neighborhood digging the yard up and going into some of my neighbors' garages. And they were really damaging things. So I'm like, I'm going to get these things. So I set up a bucket, fill it with water, put a little ramp up to it, and put a bunch of sunflower seeds in it. And I started catching chipmunks and mice. And all of a sudden, I was checking to see the catch of the day, and I got a phone call, and it went something like this. Hi, this is Linda Johnson from the DNR, the Department of Natural Resources. We've got a complaint that you're capturing and killing chipmunks in your neighborhood, and we're just going to be sending an officer over to talk to you and possibly have you arrested. That is illegal in the city. And I'm like, oh, my goodness, I'm so sorry. I said, I can't deny it. I've done it. But honestly, I will never do it again. I am so sorry. And she says, well, it is a violation, and we're on our way over right now. And I said, well, that's fine. So I can't lie. I did do it. I'm really sorry. I just want you to know that. And then all of a sudden, my wife's best friend started talking straight.
I think that's so sweet, though, David, that you admitted to it.
Yeah, I knew. I mean, somebody. I figured somebody must know. Somebody must have turned me in. And I'm like, who would I'm in the back of my mind. I'm like, who would turn me in? I'm trying to help everybody.
Right.
So that as far as April Fool's Day, my dad always told me that in the early church, pagans used to make fun of Christians on April Fool's Day, which is usually right around Good Friday, and to make fun of as non-believers. Like, in other words, we're fools for believing in Christianity. My dad always said that was an early church practice that started.
That's interesting you said that. That's why I brought that up, because Ace, our producer, looked up the history of April Fool's Day and found a different history. But I had heard something similar as well, and that's why it was interesting when you said that. So, wow. So you were taught that too as a child. May I just ask you a question? I want to just know about your marital relationship. So after this prank, did you and your wife have a good laugh, or did she say to you, David, I'm so proud of you. You were so honest that I played this horrible prank on you and you admitted everything. It just goes to show what an honorable man you are. Did any of that kind of conversation happen?
No, not at all. Matter of fact, when I came in, she was laughing pretty hard. And I said, that's good one. You got me. I mean, you got me. Hook, line, and sinker. I said, but you'll get it back. So about a week later, I'm like, Lisa, telephone. She comes running to the phone. She picks it up and plops it on her ear. There's butter on the ear part of the phone.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
So, and you can't get that butter off without taking a shower. It just won't come off.
Right.
So I'm like, who's on the phone? I go, is that the DNR? She says, nope, you got me.
Oh, boy.
Okay, some of our Take Two family is writing in, David, saying that they're just wondering, like, why you even thought to even catch the chipmunks. So they were, I mean, that you explained, because you said there was a problem in the neighborhood, but they were, I think some of our Take Two family is just wondering, why you would take on the task.
The reason is my neighbors across the street were in their 90s, and they had actually dug a hole into their garage.
Ooh.
And they were just too elderly, and they had chipmunks living in their garage. And then I don't know, I kind of take care of my neighbors, and I just decided that. And I mean, there's thousands of them. Trust me, they're not going away, and they're in our yard last year. So, and I haven't really captured them in a long time. I don't know. You do feel bad about that, but at the same time, you know, you got to draw the line on the damage. You know, they were in my garage as well. They had holes all over my yard. I mean, I don't know. I do feel bad. I love animals, including mice.
Yeah. Are chipmunks the mascot for the movie Caddyshack? Is that the chipmunk? No?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Yep. See, every time someone says chipmunk, I think of the song. What's that song? The I'm All Right.
Right.
They're really cool little animals, and they're beautiful little animals, but they're fast and they really can damage up a neighborhood if you let them.
Right. Well, David, you and your wife, Lisa, have a very strong marriage, it sounds like, and that's a good thing, and we appreciate you joining us here on the program today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. More of your pranks we're going to get to that have been played on you or by you on Take Two. Stay with us.
The most original and exclusive Catholic content is on EWTN Radio.
I'm continually amazed and humbled at the way God can work through me to help so many people. Although I have no idea what the callers' questions will be that day, I trust that the Holy Spirit can use my education and experience to guide, challenge, or comfort those who call.
Mast Appeal with Colleen Kelly Mast. Saturday morning, 9 Eastern on EWTN Radio.
This is a Messy Family Minute with Mike and Alicia Hernan. We believe that parenting is a path to holiness. Sacrificing and suffering are built right into the vocation of being a spouse and a parent. St. John Paul II tells us, families become what you are, meaning that if you want to be holy, be a better father, mother, a sister, son, husband, or wife. Holiness can be found by embracing the call to be a family.
To help couples celebrate Lent and Easter, we've developed a program called Cana 90. Cana 90 is designed to help couples grow in holiness through commitments of prayer, fasting, and mercy. But all these commitments are made remembering that the path to holiness is found through loving your spouse and children.
Our Cana 90 program provides guidance to help couples make good choices together. We provide free videos, podcasts, and even activities to do with your children.
If you want to join us, sign up by visiting us at messyfamilyminute.org.
This is Debbie Georgiani. If you missed part of today's show, catch the encore tonight at midnight Eastern. Check out the podcast anytime at EWTNradio.net and click podcasts.
Hi, this is Janet Williams. We embrace the essence of feminine spirituality on Women of Grace tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern here on EWTN Radio. Now, back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Great show we're having today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, talking about pranks today on the day before April Fool's Day. Tomorrow's show is the first Friday of the month, so we dedicate it to the Most Holy Eucharist. Super important show. We hope you join us, and we hope you share the program with others. It's really a great chance for us to come together as a mystical body of Christ and really share our deep love and faith and trust and our experience of the Eucharist. But if you'd like to join this conversation talking about pranks today, please call in right now. There's plenty of time at 833-288-3986. Okay, Jerry, I got a question from one of our Take Two family members saying, it sounds like you speak to the pastor that you worked for. Do you speak to that associate pastor after you played that prank on him? The funny part of the story is, Jerry, that associate pastor is now a pastor of a wonderful Catholic church here in the Valley, and he is my pastor. That's where Jerry, I was going to say Jerry and I, that's where Marty and I go to Mass. And He's a very, very dear friend. He was there for my mom, and my mother just loved him, and he did the funeral mass and everything. And so, yes, we're still very good friends. I actually just texted him this morning. He was under the weather, and I wanted to find out how he was doing. So, yes, everybody's happy. Everybody's good. We have a fun diocese. It's a good diocese. And, yeah, we try to live our faith out with joy.
Excellent. Yeah, I know many of the priests in your diocese, wonderful men as they are everywhere. Thank God for our priests, and we always pray for more vocations to the priesthood and religious life. Take two with Jerry and Debbie. We have a phone line that is open. We are talking today on the day before April Fool's Day about if you've ever had a prank played on you. Hopefully it was funny and harmless and gave everybody involved a good laugh. If you'd like to share that with us, 833-288-3986. Similarly, if you were the prankster, how did it go? 833-288-3986. And we go to Jane in Charleston, West Virginia, listening on St. Paul Radio. Hi, Jane. Welcome to Take Two.
Thank you. Glad to be with you. Listen to you all the time.
Oh, thank you.
I have what didn't happen to me, but it happened to a good friend of mine. And it's a family that had 7 children. So when they went to church, there were 9 of them, and they took up a whole pew. So the parish would just save a whole pew for them, their favorite pew. And it was a church and a mission church, what we call a mission church. It's 2 churches, and they would have Mass at one church one Sunday and the other church another Sunday. And this Sunday, the family was really having a hard time getting there on time. They were running a little late, and so they started out and they went to the wrong church. So that slowed them down a little bit more. And so they very hurriedly went to the other church for the Mass. And so Father is a real prankster. He loves to do pranks, and he loves to laugh. He has the most beautiful laugh of anybody in the world, I think. And when he laughs, he laughs all over. And so he saw them drive up in the parking lot, and I think they had just started Mass. And so he said to everyone, he said, "Now, I've always wanted to do this." And he says, "Now is the best time. I've caught the best time." He said, "Now, when they come into church, I want everyone to stand and let them be seated, and I want everyone to stand. And I'll bless you, and I'll say, the Mass is ended. Go in peace. Thanks be to God." And you all answer. And so when they came in church, everybody was kneeling down, and they were seated, and then Father blessed them and said, "The Mass is ended. Now go in peace." And they all looked at each other and said, "Why did we be late?" But I didn't think we were that late. And they were just really, really shocked. And so then they thought it was real until Father started laughing. And when he laughed, they knew that he played one of his pranks on them. And so they just joined in with it.
I think
but
that's
they
hilarious.
were really, they were shocked.
Yeah, I'm so visual, Jane, that I can picture it. You can just picture it, and you just could imagine that the look on their faces, right?
Oh, yes. Mother with 7 little children trying to get them all to church at some time. And, oh, goodness.
Yeah.
So, and they're very, very faithful. And so it was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and you can imagine. I mean, for large families, it's a challenge enough. How often do we see large families, just kind of pulling in as mass is starting? And sometimes you think, well, can't they, get it right and get here on time? Well, try having 7 kids and herding them all in the same direction and getting them dressed and washed and clean and maybe a little food in them before you head off to Mass. I've often thought, my take on that is it's such a beautiful thing to see. We have a family in my parish, Jane and Debbie. They have 12 kids. In fact, none of them had ever been baptized. So we had a mass baptism on a Saturday here a few weeks ago. All 12 of the kids were baptized. And I look at that and I say, God bless those parents for A, their openness to life, B, for getting their kids to Mass on a Sunday. So I never think anything other than thank God they are making the effort to get here. I think that's beautiful.
That's the picture you sent me, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the picture? Yeah, that was beautiful. And they were all dressed, so they look like right out of heaven. It was a snapshot out of heaven, Jane. Jane, let's go back a minute to priests with that have a nice sense of humor, a very balanced sense of humor. I think it's really important because I think Catholics get criticized a lot from people who have either left the faith or people who are kind of watching us from a distance. They kind of think we're a little bit stiff and robotic. And we're not. And I think that sometimes when we show that side of ourselves, it really does disarm people, and it allows people to get to know us better. What do you think?
Oh, I think so too. And he was a good one to get. He could get anybody's laugh.
Oh. Is that priest still with us, Jane? Is he still with us, or did he pass?
Well, but yes, he's still in the diocese. He isn't in this area. I don't believe in it right now, but the whole diocese loves him. So
beautiful.
It's the whole state of West Virginia.
Very nice. Well, thank you for sharing with us today. We so appreciate it. And thank you for waiting. You waited so long on the line. We appreciate that as well.
Oh, thank you.
God bless you, Jane. Thanks for being part of this program. Alice in Dallas, listening on Guadalupe Radio Network. Hi, Alice. You are up next here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Welcome.
Hi. When I
Hello.
was in high school, can you hear me?
Just fine.
Okay. When I was in high school, I was young high school, probably 14 or 15, and a friend of a friend, they weren't really a friend, but a friend of a friend called me and said one evening, it was after school, they said, "Oh, would you like to go to the mall with me?" And I was like so excited. I was like, sure, because I wasn't one that got invited a lot of places or things. So she said, "Well, just wait on your porch and I'll come pick you up, in a few minutes." And I was like, okay. So hung up, waited on the porch for, an hour went by, a couple hours. Then finally she calls back and says, "Oh, sorry, I forgot to call you back. It's April Fool's." And so it was actually very hurtful to me because I was one that didn't, I didn't get invited places. So even now, I'm almost 60. I still, when April Fool's comes around, I still think about it. And I'm thinking, I've taught my kids to be careful with what they, pull a joke on someone because some things are hurtful.
Right. Absolutely. I want to comment on this, Alice, because I do a lot of work in life coaching with a lot of clients, and this comes up with bullying and stuff like that. And I totally agree with you. I think when somebody is going to plan a joke or a prank, they need to have that person's dignity in mind. They need to keep the respect of that person, okay? And to know that it can't be something that tears away at them or is a joke, at their expense and hurts them and brutally hurts them in a deep way. That that April Fool's joke that person played on you was cruel. It's horrible. That's not right, because it hurt you in a deep emotional way, and still does. Just like you said, when April Fool's comes around, you think about it. And I totally agree with you. And I've always said this, especially when I worked with teens in youth ministry. I said, if you're going to have a sense of humor, make sure you have that other person's dignity in mind. You uphold the dignity and respect of that other person, because if you tear away at that, the sin is going to be on you. And I used to always say that. So I just wanted to affirm what you're saying about how pranks can be very, very cruel.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't think that kids at that age that might pull those kind of pranks, I don't think they realize it a lot of times. Because she probably doesn't even realize it to this day. But it's just, they can be hurtful.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sorry that happened to you, Alice, and that it stayed with you all these years. I would tend to agree with you. I hope that your assessment is more right than wrong, and that is that kids, I don't know that they stop and do the calculus in their heads, like if I do this and if I say this, it's going to do this for this person and that person. I don't know that they think all of those things all the way through. I've even found myself looking back at some of the things, pranks and things that we would say and do in high school. And, every school has the cliques and the classes of people, and I was part of the jocks, the sports guys. And then we had other people who were, not seen as being, I don't know, as productive in the school or as involved or whatever. As cool. Yeah, that's a good word to put it. Yeah, as cool. Mm-hmm. And I've really had some talks with God about some of these things. I'd like to think I never was really mean to anybody, but still just playing that game, being a part of that system. It's unfortunately it's what a lot of kids do, and it does bring hurt at times. So absolutely. I'm glad, Alice, that you brought this to our attention, even though I'm sorry that had to happen to you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate the call. Let's see here. We got
social media. We've got emails coming in. Everybody's sharing their pranks. Mm-hmm. Folks are trying to reach us and tell us all the details. You guys have great stories. I love the Take Two family. I wish we could all meet in one gigantic arena and just, have great time telling stories. The Take Two family is never at a loss for the stories and the details. Never. Yeah.
Can I read an email from Sarah?
Please.
Sarah is in Edgerton, Ohio. Dear Jerry and Debbie, when our son was in junior high, he and his friends decided to prank call us. They called and asked if we wanted to buy a tiger from Dubai. I hung up on them the first time because we had company. The second time they called, about 5 minutes later, my husband answered. He immediately started speaking in an Indian accent. He said, of course I will buy tigers from Dubai. Dubai tigers, meaning, do you buy tigers? This went on for about 5 minutes with the boys eventually hanging up. Who actually got pranked, us or them? You decide. We still laugh at the memory, especially when tigers or Dubai come up in conversation. Blessings, Sarah.
Parents are very smart. If you're a teen listening to this show, your parents are very smart. You may not think that way, but they are. They've been around a long time. They can turn the tables very quickly.
Mm-hmm. As these kids found out, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Beth has been waiting so patiently in Maryland on the EWTN app. Hi, Beth. Welcome.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I was the victim of a prank.
Ooh, good or bad? Was it funny or not funny?
It was hilarious, yes.
Okay.
I was the new volunteer at the hospital desk where people come and go, and I saw a caregiver bringing a woman in a wheelchair, and they came in the door, and then the caregiver said, I'll be back in a minute. And she drove the car away. And the patient looked at me and said, she's stealing my car, And I said, no, I think she's just parking it. And she said, no, you don't know. These caregivers, they are really evil people. She says, she beats me, too. And so now I'm thinking, oh, my heavens, it's my first day. I don't know what to do. So I'm flipping through a book looking for, like, social services or something. And about that time, in walks the caregiver, and she looks at her patient, and she looks at me, and she goes, did we do it again? And the patient just cracked up. And, apparently she just pranks everyone. And it was truly funny because I was so convinced that this lady in the wheelchair could not be pulling my leg, but she was, big time.
Wow. She was a great actress.
Oh, she got me a second time years later. I mean, how does that happen?
Well, the reason why I say that is because my mom always wanted to be a performer, an actress in Hollywood or on stage. And my mom could do that too. She could get right into character. She could convince anybody. She was so good at it. And that's just amazing that lady could do that. I think that's pretty funny. But think about it. That particular prank could have gotten really serious if you did call authorities.
Yes.
Wow.
But I have a feeling that she would have just said, no, I'm just having a good time. Yeah. If they had actually come and,
right.
I don't think I'm a gullible person. I used to practice law. So how could I be that gullible? But she got me more than once. She's passed now, but I have her picture up in my kitchen because I just think, oh my goodness, this is, it's more fun in heaven than they've had in a while.
What was her first name, Beth? I'm just curious.
Oh, I have to think.
You don't remember?
She looks like my mother-in-law, so I have a hard time, and I'm terrible with names.
Okay.
I am not certain. I
That's
could email it to you, though, in a few minutes.
Yeah. Email us, take2@EWTN.com, because I like to put her in the book. I always like to put those that have passed, and, especially when they've graced the earth with some beautiful laughter like this woman has done. I think it's wonderful. So what do you think, Jer?
No, I think I agree with you, Debbie. It could have gone in a lot of different directions. And Beth, I think, I think what happens sometimes is, I think the seriousness of the prank matter, the subject matter of the prank, the seriousness of it, I think helps to make it perhaps all the more effective. Because in this case, Beth, like you said, you were kind of scrambling. What do I do? Your first day in your job, you wanted to do the right thing, come to the aid of this woman, and so forth. And so it was the matter, the stuff of the prank was a very serious issue. And so it really did get you on that one, it sounds like.
Well, I can't say that I just enjoyed this lady so much that she had that kind of sense of humor in her situation, which was real difficult. Mm-hmm. So that to me was heroic.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep a sense of humor when you're going through some tough things, physical things, aging, all sorts of things. I totally agree with you, Beth. Thank you so much. Thank you for putting a smile on our faces today, and it was a great contribution to this discussion on pranks.
Indeed. We're going to get to Ed right after I mention Catholic Answers Live. It airs Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on EWTN Radio. And the best of Catholic Answers Live, Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern on many of these same affiliates as well. Cy Kellett takes your calls and talks with some of the leading apologists and theologians in the church today. EWTN is the exclusive radio home for Catholic Answers Live. Today is an open forum with Jimmy Akin. Any question you would like to ask. Catholic Answers Live, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, here on most of these same EWTN radio stations.
And I understand we're going to be on Catholic Answers Live in a couple weeks.
We are working on a date, yes, for Debbie and myself to be back on that fine program.
I love Catholic Answers Live. And by the way, folks, real quickly, today is our webinar on 5 key principles for an effective marriage. If you want to join the Zoom webinar, it's tonight. I just said that because we had a little typo. Some folks thought it was last night. So it is tonight. Just go to standtalltoday.com and register. Standtalltoday.com. Okay, we got to go quickly because we only have a few minutes. And Ed, you got to go fast in Buffalo, New York, listening on the Station of the Cross. Tell us your prank, Ed.
Okay, we received a letter from our church confirming the marriage of my oldest daughter, and it was sent by the priest, and we had no idea what it was. My wife called me up. We looked at it. We said, what is going on here? My wife was going to go and confront my daughter to see what was happening, and my other daughter, I have 4 daughters, my other daughter came out and said, no, Ma, it's just a joke, it's just a joke. So she got the priest to send us a letter confirming the marriage.
So you thought your daughter got married behind your back?
No, confirming that she was going to get married.
Oh, going to get married, and the priest signed that letter? I love that.
Yes, yeah. The priest signed the letter, so then we were thinking of going to the pastor and saying, Father Jorge, hey, this is what he did, but we're like, no, we took it all in good fun.
Yeah. Oh, I think that is hilarious. When your priest does it, that means he cares about your family and he wants to get involved with your family. I think that's beautiful. I mean, it could have been a little problematic if, some tempers, were to fly, but you guys handled it beautifully.
Well, and April Fool's Day in our house is like a national holiday. The kids did all sorts of stuff. Like when I'm sleeping, they painted my fingernails, and then I had to get up to go to work. They turned the clocks. They turned the and then they hid the nail polish remover, so I couldn't take that off. We've done a lot of stuff, my wife and I, over the years, and they're doing the same thing to their kids.
Wow, that's great. It's beautiful when a family can do those kinds of things and have a good laugh about it. Ed, thank you. Thanks so much for gracing the program today with this story, and we appreciate it so much. As Debbie said, we're going to try to go fast here. Vinny, hold on. If we can get to you, we will. Elizabeth is a first-time caller in Richmond, Virginia, listening to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, Jerry and Debbie. I love your show, and thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
So years ago in the mid-'80s, I worked for an attorney who had Muhammad Ali as a sometimes client. And everybody in the office knew I was a huge Muhammad Ali fan. So he was supposed to come into town and give a deposition, and I had been looking forward to this for weeks. I just was beside myself with excitement. So one day a call came through the switchboard, and it's him calling. And he said, I'm here in town. I came in early. I'm down in the downstairs lobby, and I need you to come and get me. And I just was freaking out, thinking he's early. What am I going to do? My boss isn't even here. How am I going to entertain this man? I'm not even dressed appropriately to receive Muhammad Ali. I just thought I was going to die. So I walked down the hall, and I turned the corner, and everybody in the office was standing in the lobby dying, laughing, because one of the attorneys had called and pretended he was Muhammad Ali calling me and had a perfect accent. And they were just all dying, and I just wanted to crawl under a desk and die.
I guess, boy, that sounds like kind of you might have been a little bit conflicted. Like you said, on the one hand, Elizabeth, you're thinking to yourself, what am I going to do? How am I going to entertain this man? My boss isn't here. The other part of it probably was you were inside. You were thinking, I get to meet Muhammad Ali. This is fantastic. Wow, beautiful, funny story. Thank you for sharing that, Vinny in Albany. I wish we had time. You hear that music there. Debbie, great program.
Vinny's got to email us because it's a prank about his wife's friend horrified him. We got to hear this, Vinny. Please email us, take2@EWTN.com. Jerry, tomorrow, the real presence.
Yeah, once a month. First Fridays, we talk about the real presence of Jesus in the Eucharist. Nothing more central or important to our lives as Catholic Christians. So be thinking about what you would like to share about your love of the Eucharist tomorrow on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Thank you, show team. Thank you, affiliates. Have a beautiful and blessed day. St. Joseph, pray for us.
Beyond Damascus with Dan Demite and Aaron Richards is our show for young adults.
Everybody's talking about encounter. Everybody's talking about that mountaintop experience. What we fail to often talk about is what happens after. What happens